Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly settle down. We'll commence the program on time. I think still 2-3 minutes are left. But I thought we have a phenomenal speaker. I won't eat into his time. I think I'll eat into my own time. That is your eating time. And let me brief you, quickly on what's happening in MMA and how. I think one more thing before I want to tell you. I think of late the too many calls are coming. I think I'll put my telephone on silent mode. Will you please follow me to do that so that it doesn't disturb anybody during our talk. Please put your telephone silent mode because many of us forget that as I have done it now. Please do that. Thank you for your cooperation. Please put your telephone silent mode. And the couple of events for which we already sent the circular. Before that, we had a phenomenal women convention which happened. Some of you attended that event. And we had a lot of requests. Some of the powerful speakers are there in the validity system. We're going to invite our people and put some extra chairs, and it doesn't really cost MMA of that 2,000 rupees for the lunch and all that. We did that, but unfortunately what I was disappointed, only about 22 people came and attended to listen to one of the most powerful women speakers in the country, like Lalita Kumaramangalam, who is the National Commission for Women chairperson. Then Soumya Swaminathan. Soumya Swaminathan is the, in last 100 years, Indian Council of Medical Research is the second head in last 100 years. Then we had Rashmi Bansal, again a brilliant international author. Then we also had the global head of TCS, J. Suresh, and some of the people I thought it'll be very, very useful for our members. Maybe, I don't know, that day is people are quite busy, Saturday, second Saturday, weekend, and come. But notwithstanding why I said that, all these recordings are available on our website. Do listen to them. Some of them are brilliant speakers to showcase from nothing, how they turned around adversity into an opportunity actually. It will be very, very useful. So do have a look at it. But still I will thank you because we had 600 plus women participated. I think you were there in the women convention till the end. Some of them are really, because the men attend women convention, women will never have a problem. Only men have a problem. That is different. We'll sort it out actually. Notwithstanding, then some of the programs we have on the 19th of March. We have MMA. We know that we do a collaborative program, and this is MMA Spritz IT Summit Leadership 2.0 is this happening at this auditorium at Image Auditorium, MRC Nagar. This is a good one. It's a full day thing. I think some of the people are confirmed. Some of the people, we got some brilliant speakers: Arun Jain, Bharat Mitra, Raghu Anantanarayanan, Bruce Hill, Lipton, Sister Jayanti. She's come from all the way from Mount Abu. So some of them are brilliant speakers, and I think it'll do something on leadership issues. If you are free on Saturday, it's happening at Image Auditorium, which is there in MRC Nagar. Please do come, and please do register because we already have quite a number of registrations for this. It's a joint event. We are the knowledge partner for this event. Then we on the 23rd of March, again, we have jointly with the University of Madras MMA Endowment Lecture. Sheila Shi Prakash, the architect, is going to speak on this, the Shilpa architect. It's again a very interesting subject. Please do come, and it's happening at University Auditorium at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So do come, and that evening, afternoon, Shilpa is again a brilliant architect, brilliant speaker. Venue is again, as I said, Auditorium, University of Madras. She's going to speak on reciprocal design. So it's nothing to do with architecture. She's going to speak on reciprocal design, how it's really work on sustainability is more for MBA students. Then on the next day itself, 24th of March, again we are having an event at the very same place, managing the reality of the fall of virtual organizations. This is again a very good event. Dr. Sandhya Shekhar, former IIT Research Park Director, she is going to be the speaker. We have got 4 distinguished panelists who are going to speak on a different subject altogether. On that day is the panelists, discussion on the panel is managing the challenges in globally dispersed new age organizations. This is a thing panelist, and we got a very good panelist. The panel is going to be, you all know, Vikram Kapoor, the former Commissioner of Corporation. Now he's the head of Chennai Metropolitan Water Development Sewage Board. Then Ranganath N.K. Grundfos, Managing Director. Then Anand Krishnan is his Chief Technology Officer from Tata Consulting Services. And Professor L.S. Ganesh, former Dean of IIT Madras. They are the 4 panelists. We will be discussing on the theme of managing and challenging the globally dispersed new age organizations. Here the booking is must, so the moment you get your mail, which you'll be sending it shortly, maybe tomorrow, day after, block your seat so that you will come, you will not be disappointed. Besides, we have a number of workshops. One of them is Excellence Through Competency Mapping. Date is on 19th of March. This is happening. Rangesh, corporate training, is going to do that. Then we also have Anybody Can Write, because a lot of people wanted to have some skilling on writing. So this is the theme. Anybody Can Write is going to be there. Another. Then coming to today's evening, is again a brilliant speaker. When I met him first time itself, I showed he's the man who we should get to MMA platform. And I met him informally, and that's why we pick up our speakers. Sometimes your gut feeling says, yes, this man should speak in MMA platform. He'll add a lot of value to the people who are going to attend the speaker. And again, large number of viewers who are watching this program from all our chapters and all the managementers located all over India. Very warm welcome to you. Thank you for continuously watching this program, listening to Radio Live. And the speaker whom is going to speak, I think we already given in our synopsis a background to the speaker, that what he is going to speak, and sometimes it's really a scary thing to get failures and also get into a situation where you are insolvency. Now the Insolvency Act is coming. It may give some protection to insolvent or to the bank. We don't know, but we'll see that when the time to come. But this person who is going to speak to you is a phenomenal speaker. People walk miles to listen to him, and he's going to speak on Fall Like a Rose Petal, talk on personal leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hand together to welcome Mr. AVIS Viswanathan, life coach, happiness, author of Falls Like a Rose Petal. May I request AVIS to please come onto the stage, take your seats, sir. And Shivakumar, who is supposed to chair this session, is not able to make it for some obvious reasons, because he said, fall like a rose petal. I think AVIS can manage himself, and we'll do all together. And he's not able to come. He's got some serious personal issues. He's not able to come. So let me fill in the gap of Shivakumar, and let me have the privilege of introducing Mr. AVIS Viswanathan, and also the theme what he's going to speak briefly. AVIS is age is 48. Very rarely men share their age. He has done it. He's a life coach. He's inspired speaker, happiness curator, author, organizational transformation consultant who leads change management, culture and leadership development mandates in corporate sector globally. He is currently the principal consultant of AV Initiatives and a specialist consulting firm that inspires workplace happiness. AVIS is a well-known and acclaimed speaker whose talk invoke soul, provoke thoughts and inspire action among the audience he addressed. In the past, AVIS has been ranked among the top 10 motivational speakers in India by the Week magazine. I think this round is a big round of applause. I know you are all quite, it's a great achievement by a person. And we are indeed privileged to have him to come and speak to us today. AVIS always live by inspired life, and is greatly influenced by Osho's philosophy of living dangerously in a complete let go by the Eknath Eashwaran's awesome book on Gandhi, the Man. AVIS is also a mega fan of megastar Amitabh Bachchan, loves Hindi film, music, particularly R.D. Burman, Kishore Kumar thing, and every Sunday he hosts a quiz on a Facebook that insanely popular among his friends and worldwide. AVIS lives in Chennai, in India, and is married to Vaani. We are indeed pleasure to have Vaani. Very warm welcome to you, Vaani, too. And his soulmate and a business partner. They have two children, Ashirwad and Anshal, both are young adult, and now who have set their explore the life to the beautiful world. This is what is AVIS for you, and he's going to speak on something which share hard work. He has done, and he's worked with a person whom I don't know to tell you. He will share his thing, because I always adore that gentleman who worked with him. He's a brilliant guy, brilliant person, and through him he learned quite a substantial things, and through which he's going to share his journey, that you can fall, but you fall like a rose petal, where you always like to pick up the rose petal and you reuse it again. And I'm also happy to share with you now another interesting thing. We are going to join with him and do some event every month, because we want to bring in some leadership issues to come and share with members. The series will be themed like this: the uncommon leader, extraordinary lessons from exceptional people. We identify some exceptional people who are going to think, and AVIS has kindly agreed to moderate those sessions, and we already identified a couple of speakers. The first session will start on 12th of April. It's already done. We had the booking today, and we'll get a detailed circular for which, AVIS, thank you so much for helping MMA to really inspire our members on leadership issues and bring in people to share their thought. Now over to AVIS. Please share your insight. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, big round of welcome to Mr. AVIS.
Thank you. I'm going to move there.
Yes, sir.
This is awesome. Thank you so much for coming here, and thank you, Vijay, for hosting Vaani and me and inviting me to share. Yes, I'm here to share what we have learned from life through a life-changing, cathartic experience. But as I start the journey, I want to make a small disclaimer. You know, we live in the corporate world, so a disclaimer will be perfectly in order. This series is titled Success Stories, How I Did It. I must remind you that this success story that I'm sharing is a success story with a difference. It's possible that at the end of this sharing session, you may even question my definition of success. It's possible. So I start with that disclaimer, okay? And I want to invite all of you to please use your mobile phones, whether you're here or you're watching us from other centers of MMA, please use your mobile phones to tweet. And if you have, please keep them on silent mode, of course, but tweet. And my Twitter handle is at AVIS Viswanathan, AVIS Viswanathan, VIS, no H, VISWANATHAN. So you're free to tweet whether you like the talk, whether you want to question something in it, whether you want to challenge some thinking, whether you want to share your own perspectives. So I look forward to seeing your tweets later this evening and responding to them. So I'm here to share what we have learned from life. And as I go through this sharing experience, you will find two kinds of conversations happening. One is, as Sanjay and I were talking a little while ago, it would be a monologue from me to you for some time. But there will be a second conversation that will be happening. And that is a conversation within yourself. Because life happens to all of us differently. My story is different. Vaani's and my story is different. Your story is different. Our stories are different. But the learnings that life's stories leave with us are pretty similar. So it's possible that you will be able to relate to some of the stuff that I'm sharing here. It's also possible that you may find some of it questionable, that you may find it unrelatable, and you may not agree with some of the choices that Vaani and I have made in our lives, which is perfectly fine. You know, someone said that behind every face is a beating heart, and behind every beating heart is a seeking spirit. And behind every seeking spirit is a personal story. So this is our personal story, Vaani's and mine. And so if you don't relate to it, it's fine. But we are sharing this in the hope that somebody somewhere may benefit from this spiritual journey. Yes, the journey that I'm going to share with you is deeply spiritual. Now, there is a big confusion between spirituality and religion, and so let me clarify that. Spirituality is the flowering of inner awareness. It is individual. It's deeply personal. It does not demand anything of anybody, not even the practitioner. And it sets you free. Religion, on the other hand, is divisive, fear-inducing, mass-based, ritualistic, and holds you hostage, at least the way it is practiced today. Vaani and I have found great value in leaning towards spirituality. They say religion is for those who want to go to heaven, and spirituality is for those who have been to hell. Vaani and I have been to hell, and we are in hell. So we are fine with the spiritual journey that we are undergoing. And possibly that's why if you have a journey similar to ours is the story of a bankruptcy, yours could be a different story. But if you're able to relate, it's because you're relating to the spiritual content of the journey. Now, the title of my talk is also the title of my book, Fall Like a Rose Petal. And this entire title is inspired by what Osho used to tell his followers. Osho used to tell his followers the story of a Sufi master. And he would narrate the story as follows. The Sufi master asked his disciples, "Have you ever seen a rose petal fall? when it finishes its job of blooming, as part of the rose petal, of the rose bud, the petal disengages unquestioningly and it falls, allowing the wind to take it wherever it should go. It may end up being on a garbage dump. It may end up in a place of worship. It may end up in a graveyard. It may end up on a newly married couple, or it may be on the street and may be crushed by a vehicle that is passing by. The Sufi master used to ask his disciples, have you seen this rose petal fall? It doesn't question. So he would say, why can't we, human beings, be like that? Why can't we be unquestioning about life? And that is why this talk and my book is named Fall Like a Rose Petal. This entire effort to share through the book, through my talks, is more for the listener. More than that, it is a therapeutic experience for me. Because intelligent living, you must have all heard of this concept of intelligent living. Intelligent living is nothing but living with complete awareness. That internal awareness that I was talking about, the flowering of internal awareness. Intelligent living is nothing but living with full awareness. But 10 years ago, 12 years ago actually, to be more precise, if you had seen a man called AVIS Viswanathan and asked me, hey AVIS, what do you think about intelligent living? I would have said, my dear friend, intelligent living is applying intelligence to living. So there I was, chasing a big dream of putting my consulting firm on the global map, making it the Indian McKinsey. You take care of that. Huh? So here I am, 12 years later, and if you ask me what is intelligent living, I will say intelligent living is just living. Not even earning a living, just living. Many of us miss the bus. For earning a living, we miss the bus, we miss the living part. So intelligent living is just living. Intelligent living is learning to fall like a rose petal. So this, therefore, is that story of how we learned to be, how we learned to fall like a rose petal. To help you get context to the story, let me tell you why we went bankrupt in the first place. So we set up our firm in 1996 in the 50th year of Indian independence. What an amazing time in India it was. A.R. Rahman had just produced Vande Mataram. Even as I'm narrating that story to you, every time I tell this story, my hair stands on its end. It was the most magical time. After 12 years in corporate life and in media life, Vaani and I pulled together all our savings and set up a firm here in Rajanamalapuram in our 3-bedroom apartment and rented apartment. And we set out to build a consulting firm for the world. We embraced a completely new space called reputation management. And we looked at reputation management from two parts. One part is the quality of internal experience in the organization, which is the quality of internal experience in an organization really means are people, Jala, you can come here, are people in the organization living by the vision and values of the organization? Do they understand the purpose of the organization? Is the organization culture making people be happy? This is the quality of internal experience of an organization. And the second part is the quality of external visibility, which is the marketing, the event marketing, the communication, the PR, the events, all of it. So we took quality of internal experience quality of external visibility, married the two of them together into a blockbuster program, a path-breaking program called Total Reputation Management. And it worked brilliantly. For a startup, it worked brilliantly because it caught the imagination of CEOs across the country. In 6 years, we raised from being a startup founded in a 2-bedroom apartment, 3-bedroom apartment, to becoming an extremely successful boutique consulting firm. And we were awarded the best reputation management firm award in the world by the Reputation Institute in New York in the year 2000. So between 1996 and 2000, we got the award, and by 2002, we were rolling with cash, profits, and marquee customers. I won't name all the customers because that'll become a long winding story, so I need to go straight to the point. What happened then was something very, very bizarre. One of our customers, a multinational customer, for whom we were doing business across the world, fell so much in love with us that they made a proposition. I call it an indecent proposition. Okay? You've seen this movie, Indecent Proposal? So it was an indecent proposal to acquire us. And as they made that proposition in their board meeting, which I had gone to attend in Kota Kinabalu in Malaysia, the whole organization, board of directors representing 14 nationalities, thumped the tables, celebrating my firm and my team's performance in the previous contractual year with them. They had completely sullied reputation in all the countries that they operated in, and they gave us a standing ovation for the work that we had done. And then the CEO said, "We have a very interesting proposition to make to you, AVIS. Would you step into the antechamber and we'll talk about it?" So I went in expecting that our service contract would be renewed. That's what logically anybody would expect. And they put forward a set of documents asking me to sign the documents. And when I looked at it carefully, I found that they were making an offer to buy my firm out for the value of the service contract. It struck me like a ton of bricks. Hey, what's going on here? A, I didn't come to sell out. B, where did you arrive at this valuation? And that's when the most indecent aspect of the proposal showed up. And the CEO and the CFO of the organization basically told me, of my client organization, told me, "What more do you think an Indian company is worth?" I got up, I left the room, and as I was walking out the door, the chief operating officer called out to me and said, "AVIS, you will regret this decision to walk out on this deal." And I said, in a fit of passion, I was much younger, I'm still very passionate. I'm not sure I would have done the same thing now, okay? But I did say that we don't regret anything. We're very proud Indians. And I walked out. So there it was, a story of an indecent proposition, a story of betrayal. How did the client come to know that we had 60% exposure to them by way of revenues? Somebody from within my team had sneaked information to the client that we had 60% exposure to revenues, income exposure. And so the client thought that AVIS and team will capitulate if our arms are twisted. And we didn't. So it was a story of an indecent proposition, a story of betrayal, and a story of passion and patriotism. I will sum it up and I'll say it was a decision that I took based on what is right than what appears to be right. They made me a personal offer asking me to shift to Hong Kong with my family at a very high pay package. But I thought what was more right was to stand up for my firm and to stand up for my country. And I walked out. Now that wasn't the mistake we made. Walking out on an unethical customer, if I had stayed on, I would have never slept. Despite all the challenges that followed, I sleep very well at night. And I think that's because I believe that I've stayed true to myself and to my team. So when I walked out on that deal, I didn't know what was waiting for us. 60% of our revenue was gone. What followed then were two strategic mistakes that we made. Number one mistake we made was that we brought in debt to meet working capital shortage from the next month onwards. and we brought in debt to further expand the organization. So from a 2-office organization, we went on to become a 6-office organization across the country. From 18 members, we went on to become a 40-member team. And all of this was supported by debt. So if you ask me in hindsight where the mistake happened in the not using capital properly, especially bringing in it as debt, using short-term funds for long-term use and long-term funds for short-term use. It was a big mess. But when we were doing it, it didn't appear to me or to anybody on the team that we were going to get into a mess, because we had marquee customers, we had great referrals, we had never been fired by a customer before, and right until this day, we have not been fired by any customer. So we had business plans, we had Excel sheets drawn up, we had the RFPs waiting for us. Everything seemed to be going fine on paper. And that's when I learned a very important lesson, my friends. I learned that life does not happen or conform to Excel sheets. Life does not go because you have drawn up a plan on paper. Life does not go according to that. So somewhere between 2003 and 2005, towards the end of 2004, we had dug ourselves into a hole. Yet, I was plowing along, and that's what entrepreneurship is all about. You know, you blind yourself to the risks, and you say, come on, let's go. I think we can do it. Come on, let's go. I think we can do it. Creditors had started piling up outside the office. Salaries were getting delayed. Vendors and team members were beginning to turn hostile, and yet we were plowing on. And somewhere along the way, the beautiful boutique consulting firm that we had created, Vaani and I, had morphed into becoming a gasping organization, an organization gasping for breath, for cash. So we started taking all kinds of riff-raff client opportunities. And my lowest point, my nadir, came when I went to meet a CEO in Bangalore. I flew to Bangalore, went to meet the CEO, and stood in front of him demanding an overdue payment of 5,000 rupees to us. And that's when I asked myself, are you crazy? What the hell are you doing? So we went as a family to Coorg in Karnataka, and there is this beautiful resort called the Orange County Resort. And it was New Year's Day, January 1, 2005. The kids had gone to sleep. There was still some whiskey left, and I was finishing it off. And I told Vaani, I said, Mom, I don't think I want to go back to Chennai. I don't think I want to walk into that office again. And she said, are you crazy? You quit jobs before, but you can't quit your own company. How can you quit your own company? But I said, I hate the sight of the organization we have built. Look at what we have created. We have become a plain, vanilla, third-rate PR company. What happened to all the great work that we were doing inside the organization, building culture, and then broadcasting it outside and showcasing the reputation of the organization? All we are doing is peddling media releases, holding events, and not being profitable. And we are constantly short on cash. And that's when Vaani and I decided to move to the next stage of our, evolution, if I can say. It was evolution, so I won't give it any fancy name other than evolution. We came back to Chennai, and we decided, as Tom Peters greatly said, that if you want to change a firm, bomb it. So we came back, and we launched a program, a strategy, called Control, Alt, Del. What does Control, Alt, Del do? Delete, reboot. Basically, it's a hard boot, right? And that's what we decided to do with our firm. We separated in 2005 with 38 live customer relationships. We laid off 38 team members. It was catharsis. Our customers didn't want us to go because we were offering the best service at possibly the most competitive or lowest prices. And the payments were always delayed, so they enjoyed the credit period. The team members wanted their money first before they were let go. And we had no money. But we said, we can't run this firm this way anymore. And we retooled ourselves, and we threw out of our portfolio of services, we threw out any work related to external visibility. And we said we will be a hardcore culture and transformation firm. And now today we call it a workplace happiness firm, and I'll come to that why. But we retooled our business completely, and we went to market with it towards the last quarter of 2005, and what awaited us was brilliant. We signed up 3 premium customers in 2006. The customers signed up at our terms, paid us top draw billings, and one of them had written in a success fee as well, and we were paid the success fee. So the 12 months of 2006 were the most magical months of our life. So it wasn't as if the control-alt-del strategy was wrong. It wasn't as if we didn't know how to run the business. It wasn't as if we didn't command a respect in the market. It wasn't as if we did not have the ability to service or delight a customer. We had all of that. And I remember we went to Mumbai in 2006, December, for our Christmas vacation with the family. And again, after the kids had gone to sleep, I told Vaani, life rocks, man. This is called strategy. This is called brilliance. This is how we need to change the way we do business. I'm very proud of us, Mom. Cheers. And I remember that moment very well. But then life is hearing you, and life has other plans for you. So during this time, 05, 04, 03, and then 06, during this time, even as we were getting our business back on track, we were still borrowing to meet deficits in the cash flow. And slowly the debt had built up to a considerable size, and the debt needed to be serviced. As on 31st December 2006, we did not have a live project. So we entered 2007 with no clients and a debt to be serviced. It was amazing that the whole year of 2007, we got no income, 0 income. Not even a single client signed up. And it wasn't as if we were twiddling our thumbs. We met, hold your breath. Those of you in marketing will relate to these numbers and may even, look at it in awe. 500 CEOs were met in 365 calendar days of 2007. 365 of them invited us to make presentations to their teams. 183 of them requested for proposals. Not one signed up. And not one gave a reason that our service was lousy, our pricing was high, or that they did not want to do the program. They had their own reasons. Somebody was being acquired, somebody had lost their CEO, somebody had lost their HR head, somebody had delayed the program because the previous merger or the integration had not happened properly, so the board had said, pause everything. 183 different flavors of life thrown at us. Bottom line, no business. And in this time, parallelly, like a madman in the city of Chennai, I was borrowing money. I had transcended borrowing money from banks, from non-banking financial companies, from Marwadi financiers, Kanduvati financiers, family, friends. Somewhere I remember one day I sent out 60 SMSs to friends, and more than 40 of them transferred money into my account. I had to keep the bank statements, bank balances clean. I had to keep the bank statements clean because it was a treadmill that we were on. And somewhere, somehow, somebody got wind of this. It's a small market in Chennai. Somebody intelligently got wind of the fact that AVIS is borrowing, his firm is borrowing from Peter and paying Paul. And the first check bounced. And then it was an avalanche. So on 31st December 2007, we were left with 2,000 rupees in our life. Just 2,000 rupees. No real estate to fall back on. No stock investments to fall back on. No health insurance. No insurance of any kind. No jewels left to pawn. And nobody to go and ask, can you give me some money? Just 2,000 rupees. And when we looked at that, we decided that we have to do something about this. Now, this is where something very, very important comes in life. And this is a learning that I'd like to share. It's not as if I didn't know we were walking a tightrope. It wasn't as if I didn't know that this is something suicidal that we were trying to do. In the hope that revenues would come, we were trying to bring in this cash. It wasn't as if I didn't know these things. But when success, by worldly definition, when success grips you, something else comes free with success. And that's a beautiful and yet dangerous English word called hubris. Hubris means insolent pride. Pride coupled with excessive overconfidence, insolence. And I had that disease. 3 times the universe sent me signs. 3 times. The first time it sent me signs, and remember this, in life, the universe will send you signs. Provided your antennae are tuned in, you can pick up those signals. So, the first time it sent me a sign was through my dietitian. The dietitian that we were looking to consult is a very nice lady who's supposed to look at sugar levels, cholesterol levels, BP levels, and prescribe a diet chart. But suddenly in the course of the conversation and her prescription, she pushes away all the papers, looks at me and Vaani and says, a time will come when you will not have money to buy footwear or underwear. It was almost as if she's saying something, pause. A time will come when you will not have money to buy footwear or underwear. Release the pause and continue. It was bizarre. The next time the universe sent a sign. So when we came out of the dietitian's meeting, I told Vaani, pagal hai kya? Is she mad? The next time the universe sent a sign was when I was sitting with my friend Deepak in a hotel in Bangalore and we were having beer. And I told Deepak, I'm very bahut dukhi hu yaar main. I'm very upset with life. We have an office assistant, Deepak. And this office assistant, I picked him up from the street. I taught him English. I gave him an opportunity to graduate. I put him through post-graduation MBA by correspondence. I taught him computers. I taught him our business. And Deepak, what he did? He took our data and sold it to another company. And he's gone and filed a police complaint against me for non-payment of salaries. How ungrateful can people be, Deepak? I am very, very, very dukhi, I said. Deepak pushed his chair back, stood up, and started laughing. Deepak is a little older than I am. And when I saw him laugh, I was wondering what's happened to him now. And so I said, Deepak, what's so funny about what I'm telling you, man? And he said, Avis, just count the number of times you used the alphabet I in that line. I picked him up from the street. I taught him this. I put him there. I got him this. Look at the number of I's. Avis, yaar, get rid of your ego. Tere se kuch nahi hone wala hai. You get rid of your ego, your problems will be solved. And I said, Deepak, please leave. I opened the door and I literally threw out my best friend Deepak out of the room. The sign didn't strike me. Hubris. The third time, I was in the audience like you. And Chika wasn't speaking. Chika, yes, Krishnamachari Srikant. This was a CII event at Taj Coromandel Hotel. And Chika said, when you bring in debt to meet working capital, it is suicidal. He was addressing entrepreneurs. And I was one of them. I remember coming out of that meeting, driving home. Vaani couldn't make it for that meeting. I went home and I told Vaani, Mom, Chika said exactly what we are doing. He said that when you bring in debt to meet working capital requirement, you are in a deep mess. But we are not in a mess. Hubris. The universe sent me signs 3 times and I didn't heed it, which brought me to 31st December 2007 with just 2,000 rupees in our hand. Literally. And my hands trembled as I looked at the money that was left with us. And this was also not our money. This was money left over from a borrowing from a friend. So we decided to call a friend, philosopher, guide, mentor, who we knew for 20 years. before that. Mr. Vijay Raghavan, he's a senior counsel in the Chennai Madras High Court and a very close friend of ours. Vijay Raghavan sat across from us in his office, heard the full story, and he said, "AVIS and Vaani, do you realize that you guys are bankrupt?" And I looked at him in disbelief. I have been a business journalist before. I have written for Business Today magazine. In Business World, I've talked about Vijay Mallya's first brush with bankruptcy. This would be applicable to me. I had never thought of it. And I couldn't make sense of what he was saying. He extracted a promise out of us. He said, "Whatever happens, AVIS and Vaani, you will not give up on life. If you promise me that, I will protect you legally. You don't have to pay me anything until you turn around, but I will protect you legally." It was, again, not making sense. Words were being thrown at me and Vaani, but I couldn't grip them. I couldn't handle them. I was still in a state of denial. Most often, our problems are there causing more suffering to us because we deny their very existence. And there I was, denying it. Vijay Raghavan said further that going to a court, meeting creditors, standing in a police station, getting into the dock in a court, and facing reputation challenges ourselves was now going to be a part of our life. And he said, we must face it. The meeting got over in about an hour and a half, and I stepped out of the meeting, drove back home with Vaani, and as we were reaching home and parking the car, a friend called up and he said, "Enada machan, New Year ku enna pandra?" And I said, "New Year patti pesradhukku neram idu? You know my situation, and are you not stupid enough to be insensitive and make a proposition for a New Year party?" He said, "Hey, come on, AVIS, relax, okay? We are coming home. Just ask Vaani to make something. We're coming home." I said, "Please come home. You're free. You're most welcome. But I don't have money to buy a bottle of Royal Challenge whiskey. Adhiyum vaanginde vandru. But you're welcome home." So they came home. We had a nice party. We listened to Kishore Kumar and R.D. Burman's songs from Yadon Ki Barat. I remember that very well. My mind was not on it though it's one of the most greatest pieces of music that you'll ever hear composed in India, from India. But my mind was on the 2,000 rupees that we were left with. The family left. It was past midnight, and I walked into the bedroom. Vaani was sitting on the bed. I still had half a glass of whiskey left. I walked up to her, and I sat down on the bed beside her, and I looked at her in the eye, and I said, "Mom, I'm sorry for what I've done. I know a lot of this happened because I made some poor choices with the way we ran this firm. I don't know how long this is going to take. I don't know how far we have to go, how long we have to walk. I don't know. But I'll be grateful if you can hold my hand and walk with me." She leaned forward, she kissed me, and she said, "Dad, I have walked with you all your life, and I will walk with you however long it takes and however far we have to go." In one moment, everything changed. In one moment, from complete darkness, I was bathed in a light that only I could see. I finished the drink. We slept well that night. When I woke up the next morning, the glass that I had had the drink from was resting on the table next to me. The first sight of 2008 Jan 1 was that empty glass. And that signified our life. 179 creditors, people from whom we had borrowed money. They were banks, non-banking financial companies, good financiers, bad financiers, conservative financiers. Okay? I'm not even qualifying what conservative financiers, what category they fall in. Okay? A family that understood, a family that refused to understand, and a family that did not want to understand. Creditors that included vendors, statutory authorities, credit cards, friends, and 179 people 5 crore rupees at that time, and we had just 2,000 rupees with us. What do you do when you don't know what to do? From being in a state of complete denial, I had already graduated to cluelessness. And when you're clueless about life, you ask yourself, why me? I went into the bathroom many times in those months that followed and looked at the mirror and asked myself, why me? I asked the mirror, why me? எனக்கு ஏன் இந்த பிரச்சனையை கொடுத்த? நான் என்ன தப்பு பண்ணினேன்? I just wanted to be a very successful business person who put an Indian consulting firm on the global map. We gave employment to people, but why did you put me through this? Now, the bizarre thing about life is, how many ever times you ask questions, you get no answers. When you don't get answers, you get angry. And I was angry with myself and with everything around me and with everyone around me. But does asking why me and anger solve a problem? In fact, it compounded it. And every day, every night, I would cower with fear. I have seen this movie which was released in 1980. It's called Shan. It's the movie that Ramesh Sippy made. And it has a scene in which Sunil Dutt, who plays a cop, is chased down by a pack of dogs on Kulbhushan Kharbandra's island off the Mumbai coast. He doesn't make it. The dogs get to him. I would sleep at 9 p.m. every night next to the AC. And I'll wake up by 11 p.m. sweating. Somebody had threatened to kidnap my daughter, who was barely entering her teens at that time, because I was unable to repay the money. And I would start keeping vigil around her room. So I would walk from her room to the front door. I'd peep through the viewer, then walk back to her room, open the door, neurotic behavior, and I would go back. Every time the phone rang, my hands would tremble. And at this time, I will not name the gentleman, but I'll give him a name nevertheless. Anna Nagar Balarji was tormenting my life. He was like a Singham villain. A lot of hair on his chest, gold on all over him, and the lousiest language, Tamil-laye, mattamana வார்த்தைகள்லாம் அவர் பேசுவார். And he was threatening me. உன் பொண்ணை தூக்கிடுவேன், நீ பணத்தை எடுத்து வா இல்லாட்டி வெட்டிடுவேன். That kind of dialogue. Around this time, a friend told me, and Vaani, the same friend who had come home, told me and Vaani, please go and meet a Siddha yogi. Now, I just want, without hurting anybody's sentiments, my belief in astrology is very high. I deem it to be a science. I believe in a higher energy, though I may not look at the concept of God the way I was looking at it 12 years ago today, but I believe in a higher energy. But I realized something through this experience up until this point of 2008, that a money problem had to be solved by money. Where is a Siddha yogi coming into the picture? So I told Vaani, நம்ம எல்லாம் பண்ணியாச்சு. We've gone to all the temples, all the dargahs, all the churches, all the gurudwaras. We have tried talismans. I have worn rings on my fingers. We have changed the vastu of the house. We have tried everything, but it's not working out, so I'm not going to a Siddha yogi. But our friend was very insistent. She said, he doesn't charge money. Go. So Vaani said, yaar, please, come, let's go now. Otherwise it's bad. They've done so much for us. So we went. And I went with a very cribbing attitude, complaining attitude. We reached the house in Porur that we were supposed to reach. There was a scrap of paper on which an address and a name was scribbled. I got out of the car with Vaani. There was a man wearing a lungi, folded, and standing with his leg against the wall of the house, like this. And he was smoking a beedi. And he was wearing a half sleeveless banyan with otis, lot of holes. Okay? And a stubble of about 3 days old stubble. He had not shaved for 3 days. And he was about my age, and he was looking up and smoking. So I got down from the car. I said, sir, இந்த வீட்டுக்கு போனோம், இவரை பார்க்கணும், இருக்காரா? So the man said, நான் தான் அவரு. And you could have seen my face. I wish there was selfie cameras at those times. I could have taken one like that. I was flabbergasted. Where have we come and landed up meeting this joker who is wearing a lungi? I thought there will be matted hair orange robes, wisdom, but there is a bidi. So I wanted to escape. But he said, "Illa ulla poi ukkarunga." And he ushered us into his room, where it was a small dirty room. We had to squat on the floor. There was no furniture. And he came and joined us in roughly 3 minutes after finishing his bidi. In total peace he was. As he was sitting down, now here is a man who doesn't take a fee. Here is a man who doesn't know who he is meeting. There are no appointments. Okay? You just land up. And so he doesn't know who I am, who Vaani is, what is the purpose of our visit, nothing. But as he is squatting down also on the ground, he looks at me and he says, "Inna sir, kadana?" And again I am astonished. "Ama sir, kadan. I have debt." His question was, "Do you have debt?" And I said, "Yes, I have debt." So I'll say this in Tamil and then translate it in English for everyone's benefit. "Sir, unga kadana ninga nesikka ஆரம்பிங்க. அது உங்களுக்கு ஏதோ சொல்லி கொடுக்க விரும்புது. அது எப்படி வந்ததோ அப்படியே போய்டும். நீங்க அதை பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சீங்கன்னா அது உங்களை தொல்லை பண்றது விட்டுரும். Embrace your debt. It has come to teach you something. If you learn from it, it will go away. And if you don't kind of, mess around with it, it won't trouble you." And I thought about it. The English la sonna seriyaavadu. Unga kadana neenga nesikka ஆரம்பிங்கங்கிறதுக்கு translation கிடையாது sir. Okay? You cannot translate this. So that's what he said. And to me, at that moment, it struck me as a most horrendous suggestion. You are not a corporate guy, man. You don't know. You don't may face 179 people. You don't have 2 children to look after whose needs have to be met. You don't have EMIs to be paid where checks are bouncing in the bank and collection agents are standing at your door. And there is Anna Nagar Balaji, among many other Kanduviti people. You don't know. So I got up. There was no commercial proposition, so no money to be paid. I asked him, of course, in all human stupidity, I asked him, "Sir, edha pariharam pannama, edha pooja pannama?" And he said, "Edhum vendam. Unga kadana neenga nesikka aarambiinga." So I got out of that meeting in a fury and told Vaani, "Fraud. He doesn't know what he's talking about." And Vaani sometimes, when she knows that I'm kind of messed up, she will not offer a secondary opinion at that moment. So, and I think that's very kind of her, generous of her. So she left me to myself to sort. And when we reached home in Bishop Garden, I told Vaani, "Let's step out for a walk. I want to clear. Bahut beja fry ho gaya yaar. Let's go out for a walk." So we stepped onto the street and we started a walk. And a dog started following me. Now I have a problem with dogs, whether they're pets or street dogs. I don't want to cause them any problem, so I have a problem with them. So this dog was nibbling at my heels. And Vaani loves dogs. So she was making polite conversation with him. This went on for some time and I got irritated because of the Bheja fry of the Siddha Yogi. Okay? And Anna Nagar Balaji. Okay? Looming over my head. I told Vaani, "Mom, what are you doing?" So she said, "Okay, let's do one thing. Let me sort your problem out. You don't like the dog? I will take him and go away. You walk in this direction. After some time, we both will meet again." I thought, great idea. She walks a furlong on this side, then turns around and looks, there is no dog. And where is the dog? The dog is standing with me over there. And I am exactly where she left me. That's when she called out to me and she said, "Dad, what the hell are you doing? Just give him a hard stare. Look him in the eye. He will go away." And I turned around, looked at Vaani, and I thought to myself, yeah, why not try it? So I looked at the dog and gave the dog the coldest, hardest stare of my life. And he went away. That's when, ladies and gentlemen, meri dimag ki ghanti baj gayi. That moment, I connected 2 big lessons in life. Accept your problem. Unga kadana neenga nesikka ஆரம்பிங்க. And look what scares you in the eye. Look it in the eye. Look it in the eye. Anna Nagar Balaji was scaring me. I picked up the phone standing out there on the street in Bishop Garden, called up Balaji and said, "Sir, நாளை காலையில 10 மணிக்கு உங்க ஆபீஸ்க்கு வரேன்." And he said, "Sir, நீங்க ரொம்ப நல்லவங்க சார். எனக்கு தெரியும் சார் நீங்க கரெக்ட்டா பணம் கொடுத்துருவீங்கன்னு. வாங்க சார் பார்க்கலாம் சார்." Correct sharp 10 o'clock I reach his office. And as I get in there, he's like looking at my hands because he thought I'll bring one potlam. of cash, because these transactions happen in cash. And he says, "Okkarunga sir. And he's still searching if I got a bag, if somebody is following me with the cash. And then I refuse to sit down. I say, "Sir, இப்போ பணம் கொடுக்க முடியாது. இது சொல்லிட்டு போறதுக்கு தான் நான் வந்தேன்." And he started banging the table. For half an hour, he banged, he thumped his fist. He called out to his adiyals. They all came and stood around me. He said he would do this, he would do that. And, I can't even remember those words, but they were not words that I normally use in Tamil, that you would normally use, you would normally hear. They go beyond all the stuff that we see in the movies. And for half an hour, he raged on. At the end of the half hour, he gave up and he looked at me and he said, "Enna sir neenga? Na ivlo nerama satham potu nikreen. Neenga vandu konjam kuda bayame illama ninnu nikreenga. Bayame kedaiyadha ungalku? En kaal vandu ulla nadungindirukku. I am actually knocking at my feet, at my knees, but he could not see it. And he thought I was being courageous. I learnt a very important lesson there that day, my friends. I learnt that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is what fear delivers to you if you look the fear in the eye. Anna Nagar Balaji gave me 6 months to settle him. And he sent me home with dignity. And that moment completely transformed my life. It gave me and Vaani the courage that these 179 people that we were chasing, that were chasing us, we started meeting them. We went to their offices. We fell at the feet of some people. We requested and pleaded with people. Some of them were understanding. Some of them were not understanding. Some of them were threatening. But at least they appreciated one fact, that the couple came and met us. And the couple were honest to tell what they were going through. They didn't have to believe, but at least they saw our honesty. So that day, with Annanagar Balaji, we transcended from fear to courage, to some level that helped. But I actually transcended the next level, from courage to fearlessness. Because courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is what fear delivers to you when you look the fear in the eye. From there, I personally graduated to fearlessness through a very, very interesting episode. I'll share that anecdote also, and then I'll move to the final part of my talk, which is where I kind of bring it all together. So, I am a diabetic, and I developed a cyst in a boil, an ordinary boil in my right ankle. Now, for diabetics, anything to do with the foot is an alarm. But we had no money to treat this. It was painful, and it looked like a boil. Now, typically, if you see a pimple or a boil somewhere on the body, you would just apply an ointment and move on, and that's what I was doing. But this damn thing was growing, and becoming increasingly painful that it was inhibiting my walking. 2 weeks into this episode, Vaani dragged me to the Bilroth Hospital in Arepuram. We were living in the neighborhood. And the doctor saw my foot and freaked out. And she said, "Let me call the surgeon." And the surgeon came in. And I was wondering, why do you need a surgeon to remove a boil? And the surgeon looked at my boil and he said, "You have deep vein thrombosis, sir. Let's get a Doppler venous scan done on him." I said, excuse me. Let's hear this once again. What do you want to do with me? "Sir, you have deep vein thrombosis. I need to do a scan to re-establish and confirm my diagnosis." And I said, "Okay, but I'm bankrupt. I have no money. What do you think are the costs?" He said, "It'll cost about 3,000 rupees. Actually, he was very nonchalant. I mean, if you're dressed in a full shirt and shoes, any doctor will look at you and you'll be very nonchalant and say, 3,000 rupees for your scan, 50,000 rupees for the surgery, additional hospital costs will be around 30,000. You can be discharged in 2 days." I said, "I don't have 3,000 rupees for the scan. So the scan ain't happening. Is there any other way out?" He said, "As a medical professional, I can't let you leave this hospital." I said, "Please explain to me, what is deep vein thrombosis? Why are you so freaked out?" And he said, "Sir, deep vein thrombosis is the condition when the infection in can travel through your veins and go straight to your heart or to your brain in a nanosecond. You are at a high risk also because you're diabetic. And we're going to put you through this right now, and I am saying I don't have money." So he extracts an undertaking from me and Vaani that we are stepping out at our risk and that we will not hold him as a medical professional or the hospital responsible for our actions. And we signed that and we came home. When we came home, I told Vaani, life will take care. Yaar. Chhod yaar, itna jaldi thodi jaane wala hai, itna bahut kuch kaam hai abhi. Itna logon ko, we have to repay so many people. Are we going to go away? No, take it easy. I was trying to console her. But she picked up the phone and called our physician, our family physician, who was a very nice man. He knew we were in deep problems. And so he got me on the line and he said, Avis, don't ignore this. You are going at my expense, on my account, for a Doppler venous scan right now. It was 9:30 in the night. They called the radiologist from home. The radiologist came. I was put on the radiologist's table and I'm going through a scan. Now, because it had to do something with the leg, I was, being scanned on the right side this way. And all that gel and that gooey stuff, it's all very ticklish. So I was actually thinking through this whole thing and this tickling was going on. And I was suddenly thinking, how will I raise the money? So far, raising all the money, bringing money from here, bringing money from there had been my responsibility. Of course, Vaani would support me, but it was principally me leading the whole effort. Through these years, I said, how am I going to do it? I'm incapacitated, I'm in hospital. There was fear initially, but the fear subsided into relief because I don't have to do it. Then the next question was, how will Vaani do it? Collectively, we don't have 3,000 rupees. Where will we get 3 plus 50 plus another 30 plus keep another 50 for emergencies? So we're talking about 1.5 lakh somewhere in that region. There was a great sense of relief with the second question, because we are not going to be able to generate that kind of money. So the third question, what if it is deep vein thrombosis? What if there is no money? What if I die? And at that moment, I turned fearless, because I said, it's all over. If I die, it's all over. And I can die in peace because I know the batsman at the other end, Vaani, will pick up from where I left off. She will make sure that all 179 people are repaid one way or the other in life. And anyway, I don't need to worry because my chapter is over. When this awareness crept in, my fear evaporated. And that led to me laughing. I looked at the ceiling of the radiologist's room and I laughed. So the radiologist asked me, Sir, enna sir, kichi kichi muttuda? Is this device tickling you? And I said, no sir, vaalka kichi kichi muttudu. Life is tickling me. Then I said, what's the diagnosis? What do I have? He said, sir, you don't have deep vein thrombosis. You have cellulitis. Both problems have similar symptoms. So they administer a patient through a scan to determine which one is what. Your problem requires antibiotics. That's how I am there in front of you telling the story, ladies and gentlemen. But that day, I turned fearless. So when we transcended fear and got into the fearlessness zone, something magical happened. We found faith. Faith not in an external agency. Faith in ourselves. Faith in the fact that if we have been created, faith that if we have been created and put through a particular situation, we will get the means to face it also. Many of us think we control our lives. I also used to think like that. But the interesting truth, the reality about life, is that life happens in spite of us and not because of us. My greatest inspiration on the faith zone has been Ilayaraja's song, the song delivered by Ilayaraja in a 1990 movie called Panakkaran, which is a remake of an Amitabh Bachchan movie called Avaris. And in this movie, Panakkaran, Rajinikanth is the hero. And the beautiful song is, Maratta Vechama, Thanni Uttuvam. That to me became faith. And I realized that we have been created without our asking. Now during this time, right from 2004 onwards, during this time, I had been basically in life going through this cathartic phase supported by a spiritual awakening that I picked up from Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda's quote, there is a quote that I read in a book which struck me very, very powerfully. The quote, I don't remember the exact quote, it's there in my book, you can Google it. But it basically means that anybody can be calm in a cave or when asleep. But the one who really stands in the chaos and battle of life and finds his or her center, that man or woman has won the battle of life. When I read that quote, I asked myself, why can't I be that person? So I started practicing mauna. Every day for 1 hour, I would be silent. I would anchor within. And my practice of mauna helped me understand life better. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, my understanding. None of us are created because we wanted to be created. We are all corporate animals. Some of them are animals waiting to become animals. Okay? Students I can see, you're all waiting to become animals. Okay? But the others are all corporate animals. Okay? And we all apply for jobs. We take our resumes, fill in our work experience and apply for jobs. But have we ever applied to be born? The fact that we have been created is missing in our life. We think it's all happening because of us. You and I have been created. And the beautiful thing is that we have been created as the human being that gets the flu from the pig, H1N1. And we have not been created as the pig that gives the flu. எவ்வளோ பெரிய அற்புதம், எவ்வளோ பெரிய miracle. So if you have been created, if you have been created without your asking, if you are being subject to a certain condition, a certain situation, in our case it is a bankruptcy, in somebody's case it will be a cancer, in somebody's case it will be a job crisis, in somebody's case it will be a relationship issue, death, whatever situation we are faced with, we have the ability and the means to face it. And that is what I learned through my practice of Mauna. I also understood that the whole life is obviously transient, impermanent. We came with nothing, we will go with nothing. So whatever we take with us, we will not even know what we will take with us. Will we be able to take our memories even? I don't know. Because nobody who's crossed there and gone has come back to tell us, has filed a Facebook post saying, hey, this is how it looks here. So we don't have that knowledge. So what are we sweating over? When that awakening came, I became completely accepting of the life that Vaani and I have. And this is the life that we have. Let me tell you that. There are 3 timelines in our life. 2007, when the bankruptcy was defined, end of 2007. Up to 2012, that's one timeline. When business came in fits, jerks, and spurts. We needed probably 18 to 20 lakhs per month to service our situation. We would get 10,000 rupees per month. So we never serviced anything. Okay? Then, from 2012 onwards, June 2012 specifically, till December 2014, in the present continuous this problem is happening. So I'm not talking of something in the past, which comes to the title and theme of this program, Success Stories, How I Did It. Okay? So we'll come back there. 2012 June to December 2014, 30 months, we had no income. Zero income. So we had been exposed to a zero income phase in 2007, 365 days, but this was 365 days times 3, literally, or 2.5. And yet we survived it. You know why? Because of this awareness. The third timeline, I'm coming to it, but let me complete this part. In 2007, no work. 2012 to 2014, no work. No money. No money. Pain. Pain. Suffering. No suffering. Fear. Faith. And that's how magically it changed for us. And all of this happened because of acceptance. The point that the Siddha Yogi had taught us. Unga kadana neenga nesikka arambinga. Accept your problem. Don't live in denial. Problems come in our lives and they torture us because we resist them. When you get a headache is a source of pain. You cannot prevent that source of pain. You suffer not because of the pain. You suffer because of your desire that the pain should not be there. So suffering is a human-induced condition. Pain is not. So the Buddha has said, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. We learnt that trick. 2015, we worked with a small NGO and earned a small income, something good, a project was there to do. And our paradigm had shifted by then. You know, all along we felt we have to repay this 5 crores, 179 creditors have to be repaid, everything has to be sorted out, and we have to be successful. When you don't know what to do, when you have tried everything possible, when you are putting your business back on track, but every time you put it, it gets pulled down, what do? We decided to become useful rather than become successful. So we went and worked with an NGO. I wrote my book, this book. I wrote it in the darkest years of my life, and then it came out when we had absolutely no income. Absolutely no income at the book launch. It was hosted by Hyatt. I even made a mention that it's so ironical, and that's one of the beautiful ironies of life, that a bankrupt man's book should be launched in the most finest properties in the world, the Hyatt Regency Chennai. So we had the book launch there. I started delivering these talks because we said, let's be useful. We are creative people. We have ideas. We have learnings. Let's go share them. So in the last year or so, we've been doing public programs. And when we entered 2016, just 2 months ago, again, no income. The one project we were doing with the NGO got over, and we decided to launch a public program for a fee. Because we have a body of learnings. This program is called Help Yourself to Happiness. And it inspires people through a one-day workshop on how they can find meaning, purpose, and happiness in their lives. So this program we've started doing from February onwards. It's slowly picking up. Life is tough, but there are 3 things I'd like to leave you with as the story continues. So what is happening to our debt? It is exactly where it is. What is happening to our creditors? They're exactly where they are. What is happening to us? One day in front of you, wonderful people. One day in a court. One day in a police station. Wherever life takes us, we go. And we face everything with a smile. And I think this ability has come because of what the Siddha Yogi taught us. Acceptance. What I first resisted, from acceptance came fearlessness. From acceptance came faith. From acceptance came this awareness that whatever is happening in your life, if you don't worry about it, life will take care of it at its own time. So I have learned to define happiness as non-worrying. Now, there are 3 important points from a corporate point of view that we need to pick up from our experience, if you care to. Okay? The one is the power of reflection. I think as corporate people, we all run crazy schedules, and we are not pausing to reflect. My Mauna sessions every day help me reflect. There's great value in reflection. Second, we are all endowed with this quality called resilience, inner strength. We think we don't have it. It's like the Bluetooth in your smartphone. You have to activate it. And how can you activate resilience? By reflection. And the third is resourcefulness, which is எது இல்லையோ அதை இல்லாமலே manage பண்றது. Learning to live with what you don't have is resourcefulness. So my beautiful wife here, we didn't have a website. Our servers were not paid for, so the websites crashed. Okay? She went and found a free platform. We are not people who know HTML, but she created a website. We are not people who know how to put a payment gateway on our website. We went and learned that through a free app. We are not people who know how to conduct a public program. But because for 20 years we've been working in the corporate space. We've never conducted public programs, but we went and launched it. And I think those are all learnings that are invaluable. We remain committed to our creditors. It's not that we are running away from the problem. We meet all of them. We face our court situations, but we face all of it with a smile. My favorite line that inspires me every time I feel a bit low is from Jalaluddin Rumi. Jalaluddin Rumi, the 13th century Persian poet, has said, be aware of the beautiful wine being poured. Don't complain that you've been handed a dirty cup. be aware of the pure wine being poured. That pure wine is life. Don't complain that you've been handed a dirty cup. Many of us are looking at the cup. The cup is the bankruptcy. The cup is the cancer. The cup is death. The cup is a crisis with your job. The cup is a relationship problem. And you're missing out on life. And so we decided to change the paradigm further. Nowadays, we don't postpone happiness. We postpone worrying. This is not irresponsible action. This is practical thinking. When you cannot solve a problem, wait for life to solve it for you. Make your effort, but don't focus on the result if it doesn't come your way, what the Gita says. There is a beautiful couplet from the Guru Granth Sahib that I'd like to use to end this talk. Those of you, how many of you understand Hindi here? Good numbers. So thank you. This is simple, so I'll say it in Hindi first and then give you a quick summary in English. The couplet, I believe it's from the Guru Granth Sahib. It's beautiful. It's got a combination of Urdu and Hindi in it. And it goes like this. Apne gham ki numaish na kar. Apne naseeb ki आजमाइश न कर जो तेरा है खुद तेरे पास आएगा हर रोज उसे पाने की ख्वाहिश न कर छूले तो आसमां जमी की परवाह मत कर जीले तो जिंदगी मौके का इंतजार न कर तकदीर तेरी बदलेगी अपने आप ही ए दोस्त मुस्कुराना सीख ले वजह की तलाश न कर. Beautiful, isn't it? So what it basically means is, don't flaunt your sorrows. Don't test your destiny. Whatever is yours will come to you in its time. You go aim for the skies and don't worry about the feet beneath your ground, beneath your feet, the ground beneath your feet. And don't look for an opportunity in life. Live your life. One day when your time comes, everything will change. But don't wait until then for a reason to smile. Keep smiling. Ladies and gentlemen, fall like a rose petal. Thank you.
Okay, gentlemen, we'll take some few questions. I think you all must be in a hurry to go and watch the cricket match. Before that, let's take some questions. Any questions, please? Yeah, give them.
Wow, is that right? Okay.
Way back in 25 years, it was like watching a movie. I hope you launch a movie soon and it will take you higher. Maybe it could be compared with Kabali also. Now, you made a lot of... One thing you were saying, religion makes us to go to heaven and spirituality takes you to hell. Could you just throw some light?
No, I didn't say that. I only quoted what I have read. They say, I don't know who says, they say that religion is for those who want to go to heaven and spirituality is for those who have been to hell. So I hope it is now clear. So when you've been to hell through a life-changing cathartic experience, spirituality is more than a balm. Religion is a very poor medicine at that time because religion cannot give you the right direction, the right feel. This is what has been my experience. I don't know about others.
See, just I want to tell you, there is a saying, face fear, it goes. Avoid fear, it grows. That is what, in a two sentence, whatever you told. I thought I get it.
Thank you.
Yes, anybody else, please? Yeah, I think you all heard with the speech and no questions coming, is it? Yes.
Your speech is more spiritual than what you can give us some success in your life. Am I correct?
I think this whole idea of success and failure is overrated. As I understand it, it is when this book was being published, Westland, my publisher, asked me, by the way, I've been asked to tell this book is available on sale outside at 300 rupees. It will help my publisher and me immensely if you can pick up a copy for gifting to others or for yourself. But my publisher, when they were evaluating the book for publication, they asked me, why should we publish this book? Who will want to read the book about a man who still owes money to people, who is not successful in life? And I asked the young gentleman who asked this question, can you define success? And he said, success means repaying, solving your problem. I said, to me, success means facing the big F word in life. You know what the big F word in life is? Failure. Facing failure is success and not running away from it. So I have a lot of problems with my family that refuses to understand. But the one thing that my father has told me, and that helps me, keeps me going, he held me by my shoulders and said, "Nee odadavanda, nee odadathanala nee jaipeda." So that matters to me. So to me, success and failure are not by the... So in a very practical sense, I think, Hindi में बोलता हूँ सर, यहाँ खड़े होने के लिए मेरी कोई औकात नहीं है. I have no औकात, no audacity to stand here. What audacity do I have to stand here? I have no money with me. What can I tell you? But if you evaluate us on material terms, we are failures. But if you evaluate us or don't evaluate us and just hear us, then I leave it to you how you want to slot us, or do you want to slot us?
Yeah. Anybody else?
That is why I said this is a success story with a difference.
Yes.
Because I can only tell you how we are doing it, not even how I did it.
We have to learn from all his lessons. That's why we thought we must present him to you. Anybody? Any other questions? Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yes, please.
Very good point. A spirit always enhances the pace towards spirituality. Okay? But I am reaching a stage in life where I am beginning to question, do I need a spirit? Because spirit ka nasha utar jata hai. Spirituality ka nasha utarta nahi hai. It stays there.
Anyway, you have to wait till the election, then you may have to go to Pondicherry if some other party will win.
Sir, what is your...
Yes.
My name is Ramakrishna.
He also
what is your action plan to repay this kind of loan? What is your action plan?
Good
as a successful person? Yes.
Good question. We have been having action plans and we continue to have action plans. But I'm not necessarily saying this that anybody will accept it as an answer or will be able to relate to what I'm saying. Every time we have put a plan and tried to execute it, we have met with the worldly definition of failure. It has been a non-starter every time. That is why we continue to do it, but with a complete let go. We are not frustrated with the outcomes. We keep doing it. So right now the plan is to launch a retail program, get into the public space and work with publics, not just with corporates. We've done things that are innovative, new, and yet we don't know. This could take another... One creditor came and asked Vaani the other day, I don't have an answer for that question. I can die now, I can die 10 years later, 15 years later. So do we have a plan? Yes, we do have a plan. Are the plans working out the way we want them to? No. Are we getting frustrated with it? No.
Yeah, last two more questions, please. Yeah.
Yes,
two
Vijay, please. He's been wanting to ask a question.
Yes, please.
And then we'll come to you, sir.
Normally, we are not a society where people talk about drinks and wine, etc. Okay, fair enough, used it. Normally, we are not a society which talks about failure, and people listen to it with such awe. You did this very well. Okay, that's an appreciation. And also, we learned a lot as to how to face failure, etc. Suppose if Vijay Malaya gives you a call just now, what will be your advice to him?
Thank you. Good question. I'll go with the moment, sir. I'll go with the moment. Let it happen. Agatum Parkala.
Yeah. Anyway, Vijay Malaya gives him a call, then the ED will get after it.
1 second, sir. I'll come to you.
Yeah.
Sir, I think a lot of us go through the same fear that you have. I just have one question that I also go through today. see, you mentioned about your kids. See, I think over the year you actually gain maturity, and you actually become courageous and you become fearless. How did you carry your kids through this process, and how did they take the struggles that you're going through?
Good, thank you. Thank you so much. I think I'll come to that. I'll come to you. Let me answer his question. See, the way the kids were made to understand was that we didn't make any effort beyond having honest conversations with them. So they knew something was wrong because the vacations dried up, the clothes stopped getting purchased, we stopped buying gifts for each other for our birthdays and anniversaries, the flowers did not come at home, and so on. The cars got taken away, everything, they saw it. I also wrote in this time to my 2 children, but I never shared what I was writing with them. When my son turned 21, I gave him the Word file in which I had been writing my thoughts every night. And I made him read it, because that was the whole objective of writing every night, my journal. And I gave it to him, and I said, this is what Appa and Amma have been going through, read it, this is what life is all about, hopefully it helps you. And he told me later, when he finished reading it, he sat with Vaani, and then both of them came to me, and that is what has become this book. So it is a set of letters that I have written to our 2 children, Ashirvad and Anchal. It is not that they have been able to cope with the situation flawlessly. When we found it so difficult, obviously they found it even more difficult. But I think the 4 of us have stuck together as a unit. We have been there talking honestly with each other, and those honest conversations have helped a lot. So we do go through our cycles of depressive spirals, but I think each one pulls the other one to come out at different times. But thank you for asking that question. Thank you. Yes, sir. Last question.
Have you put this book on Flipkart?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, it is.
I have done a couple of things magic in my own life as a consultant, and I would prefer you to do that. And I have never bought a book, even in my college book, and I have teaching also from my program. And I'm going to buy your book today.
Thank you.
Thank you. He'll be more happy to autograph his book and give it to you.
Thank you.
Okay, gentlemen, I think due to shortage of time, I don't think we have to close it. We already... Last question. Okay, one last question.
Yeah, that's right. Right. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I talked about that program, Help Yourself to Happiness.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a fascinating evening, and many people thought, why success story? Success story, not all the time you talk about success. Sometimes you talk about failures, how you come out of those situations. That's why we want to present them to you. I'm quite sure you would have taken away very good takeaways, because I don't want to sum up and tell you, because you all, from your eyes, from the way you're looking at it, you are at awe that man with so much of issues, still he can come to be happy. Because when I met with him, I was really fascinated to know his story, and I read this book, interesting book, and we need to really understand from our life that how we can avoid such a situation. Because one wonderful lesson he brought, never borrow to make your working capital. I know a lot of the people borrow in real estate. I know a couple of guys that committed suicide in South Corporate because he invested so much money in shares. Well-to-do family which has come from US, he must have read in the newspaper. But we do something in our life, all that is, well, he mentioned is ego, everything. But at the end of the day, we all have that greed actually. We want to earn more. I think that puts you down. I think we have a happy life to see what God has given to you. Take it forward. Come attend the MMA events. Enjoy the evening with be happy. Listen to some good guys. When you go back, you want to follow, you follow. Otherwise, continue thing. And we are making the building. We are not going to go to Ananagar, Balaji or anybody. We are making our building our own thing. We are not even asking money from our stakeholders. I think one lesson you can take it away from MMA, and as well as big round of applause to Mr. AVIS Viswanathan, because he's going to be with us sharing more stories. Thank you so much for being with us. Sanjay, maybe you can step forward. Vaani, I also request you to please step forward and receive the memento on behalf of Mr. AVIS, because behind the success of a man, there is a woman. I think she deserves a big round of applause, Vaani.
I don't walk behind him, I walk beside him.
Yeah, you walk beside him. Yeah, very important. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a fascinating, good to have you again. We'll meet again. Till then, bye-bye, good night, and wish India they win the match today, and have a great evening.